welcome back to my channel. It's Nita here from Next with Nita, and in today's video I will be addressing a lot of y'all's pregnancy assumptions. So over on Instagram stories I asked y'all to submit any assumptions that you may have pregnancy related, and I will address them over here on YouTube. And I'm so excited because you guys sent over some really good ones, and some of them I feel like I won't know until after birth, but this will be really fun to go through with you guys. So let's go ahead and get started with number 1. You feel sick often and have lots of food aversions, or you're constantly puking. I think with this one, it just depends on your pregnancy, right? Like my sister had no food aversions. She didn't have any nausea. So it really just depends on you and your pregnancy and your body. So for me personally, my first trimester, I was insanely nauseous, like all day nausea. It didn't necessarily mean that I was throwing up every day, but that feeling, that nausea was there all day long. Definitely did throw up from time to time though. And then food aversions, yeah, I think it's pretty common and probably a good safe assumption to say that like with most pregnancies, people experience both food cravings and food aversions. For me, I've had probably more aversions than cravings, but it just totally depends on the pregnancy and like your body. Assumption number 2, you're always uncomfortable. Okay, this is not 100% true. I wouldn't say I'm always uncomfortable. I feel like it just depends if you mean physically uncomfortable. I know as you grow, things can be uncomfortable. Like I'm now in my 3rd trimester and I really can't get up using my abs anymore. I kind of have to roll to the side and then pull forward. It's like a process, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm uncomfortable all the time. So no, I don't think this is a true 100% a safe assumption to make. I will say that you're uncomfortable sometimes. There's good and bad days for sure, but not all the time. Assumption number 3, when you have heartburn, the baby's born with a lot of hair. I will let you know if this is true because my heartburn, especially getting into 3rd trimester, has been out of control. Tums does nothing. I finally resorted to Pepcid because my doctor said to take that and it's helping a little bit, so that's great. But I'll let you know if we got a hairy child coming out by November. But I have heard that, you know, for the most part, I think that's actually true. Like every story I've heard so far, people are like, well, I had a lot of heartburn and baby came out a little hairy. So I do think it might actually be true. I haven't heard otherwise yet, so if you've experienced something different, be sure to like let me know, but this one might be true. Assumption number 4, you can't get in a comfortable sleeping position. You know, like 1st and 2nd trimester, I was okay for the most part. So I think it just depends on what kind of sleeper you are. Like I used to be a tummy sleeper, so I love sleeping on my stomach. Obviously, I can't do that anymore. And so I've had to adjust to being able to sleep on my side. I don't love sleeping on my side. So I have been particularly uncomfortable during my 3rd trimester. But there's some people that are already side sleepers and they're okay because it's not really an adjustment for them. So it really just depends, I feel like, how you were already sleeping and if you are having to make an adjustment. But you definitely can get comfortable. Like even now, I'm not a side sleeper, but with pregnancy pillows and things like that, you can still sleep and it's still fine. So I think it's okay. Assumption number 5, you're constantly hungry and or tired. Yeah. That's true for me at least. I don't know about everyone else. I'm either really tired or I'm really hungry. Sometimes it's both at the same time. So it's very interesting. Like I know, again, with my sister, she said her pregnancy, like she worked out to the very end. She was super active and she didn't really experience the tiredness. But that hit me my very first trimester. Like that was my biggest symptom, and that's when I knew something was wrong with me, or like something was going on, because I was experiencing a lot of fatigue and I never experienced that. Like I'm a go person, and when I started slowing down my first trimester, I was like, something's happening to my body. This is not normal. So for me in my pregnancy, this is true because I'm either tired or hungry. Fact. All right, next one. You're supposed to eat for 2. This is actually false. By the way, I did talk to my doctor about this because you hear that with pregnancy. It's like, oh, keep eating, girlfriend. You got to eat for two because baby's going to need the nutrients. But that's actually not true. I don't know if that's just a saying that people say to make you feel better that you are eating more. And you should be like, I just eat smaller meals throughout the day instead of 3 big meals. I actually think that that statement that you're supposed to eat for two is like probably one of the biggest myths or false assumptions, because like it's true that your baby needs the nutrients, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to double the amount that you're eating. You just kind of have to like start looking at what you're eating and making sure you're getting enough iron and fiber and all these things. Your body is already efficient as it is. Like it is taking the nutrients that you're feeding your body to your baby. And if you're just like doubling up, you're just probably gonna gain more weight than you really need to gain during pregnancy. And so I feel like talk to your doctor, but the whole eating for two thing is definitely false. Number 7, your body doesn't feel like yours, or your body will never be the same again. This is my first pregnancy, and I will say that I was surprised to see the changes that your body makes during pregnancy. I guess with this assumption, your body doesn't feel like yours. Personally, I think that's false. I think that I still feel like I'm in my body. This is my body. I just feel like I am sharing it with my baby boy, and that feeling is there, but it's still very much so my body. So not necessarily agreeing with that first part, but it is kind of true that like it could be that our bodies have changed to where it may not be the same again. I might agree with that, and I guess I'll only find out post-birth and whenever I start working out and seeing where my body is. But I think it's 100% normal that you're gonna experience long-term change after you give birth, including stretch marks, including changes to your breasts and your thighs or whatever it may be. I think a lot of those can be permanent. So it is true that your body may not be the same again necessarily, but it's changed for the better, if that makes sense, because you literally gave birth to a human. Sometimes I sit here and I'm like, there's a full-on human being growing inside my stomach, and it's the craziest thing. So naturally your body's going to change, and whether you bounce back from that completely, I guess it depends on your body, but I think for the most part most women still have some permanent changes to their body. So I think that's normal. You pee all the time. Fact. I pee all the time. At this point, I feel like it's once every hour, basically. And it's kind of an interesting thing, because sometimes I feel like even when I haven't had enough water, just the way the baby is positioned makes me need to pee, like the feeling is there. And then when I go to pee, it's like barely anything. But I do need to hit that toilet probably once an hour. So fact, you do need to pee all the time, or at least that feeling is there, whether you actually go or not. Yeah, that's a true assumption. Your social/romantic life with your husband ends after having a baby. I don't necessarily think so. So I mean, this just depends on the couple, and I guess also I won't know until after birth, but this to me is something that you choose. Whether you and your husband or your significant other chooses to put in the time and effort towards your relationship is totally up to you guys. So I know post-baby for us, Ajit and I always prioritize our relationship, whether that's like date nights or just quality time talking to each other, checking in on how we're feeling, things like that, maybe trying new things. Like we try to prioritize that. So I know even after a baby, we want to make sure that we still have those date nights and have those moments together. So I think it's just how you go about handling your relationship after baby and how you're prioritizing things. I think the baby is obviously the number one priority, but also so is your relationship, and having a strong and healthy relationship to making time for each other is very important. So whenever y'all are able to, I would 100% discuss these matters. Like, okay, after baby, let's have like this, even if it's 10-minute check-in, those conversations can really help. And then whenever you do get a chance to go on date nights or whatever it may be, that's gonna help your relationship as a whole, but also like the romantic side of things too. So I think it just totally depends on the couple and where you want to put in the work. But I think if you put in the work, then the romantic side of things and going out on date nights and things like, it doesn't have to die. It just may slow down a bit while you're getting used to your new life, but you know, you got to put in the work just like you would do for anything. All right, what do we have here? So you either love being pregnant or you hate it. There's no in between. I disagree with this assumption because I feel like I'm an in between. I love so many things about being pregnant. Like I love looking in the mirror and seeing my bump. I love actually seeing my body change. I love like feeling baby kicks. I love actually the special treatment you get, by the way. Like I feel like you get extra special treatment. People are so nice to you when you're out and about. Like they look at you differently in a good way and they're nicer to you. And I feel like you can get by with a lot of things when you're pregnant, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. I feel like I could probably enjoy this more if it wasn't for COVID and I can go out more, but there's a lot of perks that come with pregnancy. But there's also like, you know, at least for me, I had a lot of bad days too where I was super nauseous or not feeling my best and I'm like, I can't get out of bed or like whatever it may be. Like there's good days and bad days. I love being pregnant and I love what my body's doing and I can't wait to see our little boy. Would I want to be pregnant all the time because I love it so much? No. But would I like choose to never be pregnant again? Also no. So I'm definitely an in between. I love it for so many different reasons, but there are bad days associated with pregnancy, at least for me, like the nausea in my first trimester, like getting through stuff like that. Those were hard days. And so I'm an in between. Like I love certain bits and then, you know, don't like certain bits. You and Ajit already have the name picked out. Not true, actually. I want something that's Indian, but also like American. So I love like my name is really short and it's kind of easy to pronounce. Like that made my life growing up easier. So I do want that for our son too. And then I also want it to be like a different name and unique. And there's just so many like things we want to mark off our checklist for a baby name. Like, okay, we want this and this and this and this. But it's been really, really hard to pick a boy name. I think part of me is just waiting for the day he's born because I feel like that will help. Like, what does he look like? But no for sure name picked out. We have like one option at this point where I just thought of like a couple days that we're still sitting on and letting it marinate to see if we like it. But baby names are hard. They're hard. My assumption is you actually don't love pickles when you're pregnant. I do think this is different for every pregnancy. Like everyone experiences different cravings and food aversions. Like I have been craving Coke since the very first day, and there's certain things that I can't eat anymore, like salmon, for example. I can't even stand the smell of salmon. I can't be around it. For pickles in particular, I actually loved pickles my first trimester, and then I would throw up all the time. So then when I got into my second and third trimester, I can't eat pickles anymore because it reminds me of my first trimester. It's so interesting. Like all of this is so interesting, right? But I guess, yeah, this one I feel like just depends on the person in the pregnancy. Like I feel like some people love pickles and some people don't. You're experiencing or you will experience lots of hair loss and hair fall during pregnancy. I actually have felt like my hair has been growing faster and thicker. It's probably because of all the prenatals and collagen and things like that. I know a lot of women experience postpartum hair loss. So after baby, you may potentially experience that. I don't know. I can't speak to that. I know some people that are like, what? I didn't have any, but then a lot of women do experience that. So I don't know for sure. Again, I think this just depends on you and your body, but I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on my hair status post-baby. But during pregnancy, I almost feel like it's the opposite. I feel like your hair is growing stronger and thicker and better because of all the prenatals that you're taking. After birth, your body remains fat. I'll let you know. But I will say I don't think so. I know I've seen people that have worked out a lot after they gave birth when they were okay to do so, and their bodies were even better than before. Like they got in complete amazing shape because of the dedication and hard work they put into working out and eating right and things like that. So I will say for sure it's going to come down to the amount of work you put in and dedication post baby to get to whatever goal that you have set out for yourself. I'll do one more. I feel like this is the 15th one. I've answered quite a bit. So the next one, the last one says you will get stretch marks. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true for pretty much everyone. Everyone that I've talked to have said they've gotten stretch marks somewhere at some point. To the degree obviously depends on so many different factors. It depends on genetics. I know that's like the number one thing. Like whether your mom had stretch marks kind of might give you insight whether you will have it. But there's other things that you can do during pregnancy. The most important thing is do not scratch your belly, your bum, your breasts, things like that. Like don't scratch it because that will kind of lead to stretch marks. And also if you don't keep your body moisturized, that's why I use an oil and a stretch mark cream daily to keep my belly, my breasts, butt, thighs, back, everything as moisturized as possible. So there's things that you can probably do to help prevent some, but it's all gonna really come down to genetics. And so yeah, I'm fully expecting stretch marks, and I already have some anyways, like because way back when I used to be really, really, really small and I did gain weight. So I have stretch marks like right on the side of my thighs, and I don't have any on my stomach yet, but I'll wait till after birth. I'm sure there will be stretch marks. Nothing on my breasts yet, but I'm sure. You know what I mean? It's just part of the process. And I think it's just like love marks. Like this is, your body's doing an incredible, incredible thing. And you are bringing your baby to this world, and you're becoming a mom. So there's so much good that's coming from being pregnant that stretch marks to me is like so minor. And I think it should just be more so like a good reminder of like pregnancy and your journey and things like that, rather than seeing it as a negative. But for sure, I do think most, if not all, women experience some type of stretch marks to a certain degree. These were great assumptions. Thank you so much for everyone that asked. If I missed any, please comment down below and let me know what those assumptions are. Or if you have any questions, please leave it down below. I think that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to this video, and we will chat soon. Bye.